Good evening. About to begin the Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025 City of Rollingwood Utility Commission meeting, and we'll start with roll call starting on my left.
Chris Kirksey.
Clark Wilson.
Jonathan Miller.
Walter Rollison.
Sam Patel.
Wonderful. Moving on to public comments. I don't believe I saw any. Confirming no public comments. Moving on to the consent agenda. Item is discussion of possible action on the minutes from the November 4th, 2025 Utility Commission meeting. Those minutes were included in the packet. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about the minutes? Otherwise, a motion.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
No one's left. Okay, everyone approves. And the minutes pass. Moving on to the regular agenda. First item, discussion and update regarding the city's capital improvement projects.
Well, I'll give you a quick update on what's going on. As you know, the main capital improvement projects that we have at the moment are related to the water CIP. We've been all over town replacing water lines. At the moment, it's almost done. The last of the paving, the repaving has been done over the top of it. There's a couple of items on the punch list. So the most disruptive stuff, the digging, the paving, the milling, that's all been completed. There's just a couple of cleanup items around town that remain with that. The other one we've been working on is the drainage projects. The drainage projects, similarly, you've probably seen here Nixon Pleasant. Nixon Pleasant is wrapped up, barring a couple of little cleanup items. The only one that's on pause there is the Hubbard Hatley project. The Hubbard Hatley project has been completed down to the outflow where it spills out over off of Almerian Way and then down into the creek for ultimate its conclusion there. We're redesigning that outflow there. The spillway was quite wide as designed by the engineers, approximately 30 feet wide at Almerian Way and tapering quite quickly. But there's a woman who lives nearby who had asked us if we might be able to reduce that scope a bit, make it look a bit more natural rather than this like monolithic block of concrete. So we're working with the engineers there and we have some ideas. I think he's coming up with something that'll be a lot more palatable to her. So we had that on pause while the stuff that we need has been ordered. The only other capital improvement project that we have is you may be aware that the City Council budgeted $500,000 in this fiscal year's budget for street repaving issues. Back in 2022, the city commissioned a study of the streets in town. So we had a company go all around the city and evaluate the condition of the pavement and the subgrade for each of the streets and come up with a list of priorities of how they'd recommend that we go about addressing the various issues. We went out for a request for proposals in October. We have a $500,000 total budgeted between engineering and construction, and we actually had some very, very competitive bids come in for it. So on Monday, and everyone will get a copy in their water bill and a rave later on this week, but on Monday we're going to undertake a 2-inch mill and overlay, which will be all of Edgewood Drive, so Edgewood all the way from Bee Cave all the way up to Rollingwood Drive, Wallace Drive between Rollingwood and Hatley, Hatley Drive all the way from Laura Lane to Vale Street, and then Nixon Drive. I don't know if you've driven down Nixon recently. We had the other two projects where we repaved Pleasant Cove, and then we repaved a little bit. So there's a little gap we missed, about 30 feet. That didn't look terrible until it's framed by this beautiful new asphalt, and now it looks awful. And then since we're also going to be, so then we're going to come in and again get that little gap, and then also because Hatley's going to be repaved, we're going to do the remainder of that hill, kind of up the hill to Hatley, so the rest of Nixon, all the way from Pleasant Cove, all the way up to Hatley will be repaved. So that was awarded by City Council in the last meeting to Bennett Paving. So it's a different paving company than has been working here already. Very professional outfit. They're going to do a very good job. Weather dependent, they said that it'll be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for the entire project. Coming in, milling all of it, paving all of it. The only caveat is obviously weather, which we always like to put an asterisk after for that. But then also the streets have to rest, I guess, for about a week or two before they apply the paint. So for a while they'll be unstriped, but they'll come back about a week or two after the paving's been completed to add in the striping. So You'll get the same kind of pedestrian stripes that we have on each side at the moment, but we've also added in some yellow lines, double yellow lines, across some of the more severe hills, like Hatley is coming up towards Wallace, where that hill's really bad, you can barely see over the hood of your car. That's going to get a double yellow there to help stop head-on collisions. And anywhere that there's a yellow curb off to the side, we'll get a double yellow line in the middle. But that is the update for the CIP project. I think it's going to be really, really good wrapping it up. And I heard some praise for the existing repaving, and this gets a substantial amount done. This is about 2/3 of the priority issues that are identified in that 2022 study. So if council is able to budget money for next year, we might even be able to wrap up that priority list next year.
Great. Any
Yeah.
questions on the CIP project? Which is somewhat redundant.
So, yeah, I have a question. So
Yes, sir.
the replacement of the water lines was done because the material that was put in the ground 42 years ago or whatever was failing? Is that the correct?
It was
reason?
failing, and I don't know what the standards were at the time, but definitely the PVC piping wasn't anywhere near the standard, like the thickness of the walls that are required today.
Okay.
And so it was failing just due to its inadequacy and partly due to its age.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next item, which is discussion and possible action regarding improvements to the cellular service. This is an item that's been on the agenda for a while, so I have some thoughts.
I have a small, tiny update
Perfect.
for that. Alan and I are having a meeting tomorrow with the Toro Blanco group, so we'll get more information how that for you for the next meeting.
Okay.
But that is scheduled tomorrow, and we've been looking into it. So
And as a reminder, that was the group of San Antonio that was
Yes.
helping.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Perfect.
With the Riverwalk. That was that.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So we'll get an update on that next time. I'll just say whenever that is. And then depending on how that conversation goes, any further action, probably recommend some sort of subcommittee to take it from there instead of keeping this on the agenda going forward if there's not anything actionable. So, great. Before I move on, is there any other items that would either like to be discussed or added to the agenda for the next meeting?
Do you know which Tuesday the next meeting will be? Will it be the first Tuesday or will it be the second Tuesday?
That's a good question. Probably not the first. Oh, the first Tuesday would be the 7th? 6th. Is it
Sixth.
6th?
Okay, so is it going to be the 6th?
Yes, it
would be
would
the
be
Okay.
That's
Okay.
the regular schedule.
And we'll see what people's availability is and if we have to adjust.
Okay.
Great. With that, I will move to adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Was it?
Maybe by then I'll hear about
Was
how
it
good it
was
is.
it Elizabeth that wanted to talk about the cellular stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll do